Today, we're going to take a bit of a journey. We're going to dive into the poetry anthology Horizon and live through a single day, a full 24 hours in the modern Philippines. We'll see how these poems just nail the rhythm, the struggle, and honestly, the incredible spirit of daily life, all the way from that frantic morning commute to the quiet hours right before dawn.
So this one line from a poem called Months Forward, this is really the heart of our whole journey today. It gets at this deep, profound resilience that we're going to see woven through every single part of the day. And look, it's not about pretending hardship doesn't exist. It's about continuing even when you know it's coming back. So let's start our day in that pre-dawn rush of the morning.
All right, our journey kicks off right here, in the morning's economic grind, where the day starts way before the sun does. I mean, before there's even a hint of light, the city's already buzzing with this frantic, almost desperate energy. For millions of people in Manila, the morning is all about the fight to just get to work, to make a living. And the poets in Horizon capture this with some incredibly sharp, you can almost feel it, detail.
Just listen to this line from LRT2, stalled between stations. Wow. It is so powerful, isn't it? It perfectly captures that feeling of being stuck, totally powerless. This isn't just about a delayed commute, right? It's about a daily reality that can feel dehumanizing, where the very system that's supposed to move you forward feels like it's actively working against you.
And then you have the iconic jeepney. The feeling here is a little different. It's a space of routine, yeah, but also faith, all set to this bumpy rhythm. And that image of the swinging rosary, it's like this constant physical tick-tock of faith, keeping time with the city's flawed, jarring reality.
And here we go, this is the modern face of the daily grind. This line from Liquid Assets pulls us right into the gig economy, something so many of us interact with. The driver, lit up by his phone, his next few jobs are lined up like pills. What a chilling image. It speaks to that relentless pressure to just keep going, keep taking the next job, keep earning.
This is where the poetry gets translated into, well, cold hard math. For that delivery driver, every single part of his day is a brutal calculation. I mean, look at the variables on the left: kilometers, fuel, time. Simple enough. But now look at the real cost on the right. The physical toll, the money draining away, the lost moments. And that star rating? It's this constant threat. A reminder that your entire livelihood depends on the mood of a complete stranger. Survival really does become a constant, unforgiving equation.
So, as morning starts to burn into midday, a whole new opponent steps into the ring: the environment itself. In the Philippines, the crushing tropical heat and the constant threat of a sudden downpour, that's not just weather. No, these are active forces, antagonists, that literally shape every single moment of the day.
Wow, I mean, this slide just says it all, doesn't it? The poem Asphalt Fever gives us this incredibly stark contrast. On one side, you have the glass condos that hoard their air-conditioned paradise, and on the other, for everyone else outside, they become the shadows that the sun cannot devour. The city's own landscape is a map of its deepest inequalities.
So, Asphalt Fever. It's not just a clever name for a hot day, you know? It's much deeper than that. It's almost like a diagnosis. The poet is using it to describe how that oppressive physical heat actually exposes and even makes worse the social divides that are baked right into the city's concrete. And then there's the rain. This line from Flooded Underpass it's devastatingly accurate. It's not some gentle shower. It's a force that literally displaces you. And comparing it to an eviction notice, that shows how quickly and totally the environment can just turn on you, taking back streets and homes with this absolute, unquestionable authority.
And that rain, well, it can get a whole lot worse. The afternoon brings what is really the dramatic climax of the day, the typhoon. This isn't just a storm. In the Philippines, this is a recurring, defining event, a true test of what it means to endure, to survive. The anthology takes us right inside this overwhelming experience, breaking it down into 3 stages. First up is landfall, and the poet is crystal clear. This isn't wind, this is a fist. It's a personal, violent attack. Then comes the duration, where time itself just dissolves, clock hands spun backward into mud. And finally, you have the aftermath, where the world you knew is gone, replaced by a new, broken landscape, a topography drawn by wind and flood. The human cost is just staggering, and the poem Post-Storm Cartography really forces us to confront our inability to even process that scale. Counting stops at thousands. The question that comes next, what's 1,000 plus 1,000? It's not a math problem. It's about that horrifying point where the numbers lose all meaning, and the loss just becomes this abstract, unimaginable weight.
So as night falls and the storm passes, we shift into a completely different world. While most of the country is trying to sleep, a huge part of its economy is just clocking in. We're stepping into the surreal, fluorescent-lit world of the call center. You know this sound. This piece from the poem Script just instantly sets the scene. We hear those familiar, rehearsed lines. The name is a blank, the empathy is written down in a manual. It's a world of pure performance, where human connection is just another metric to be tracked and optimized. But then, bam, the poem just rips away that polite script to show you the brutal reality underneath. It reveals the immense emotional labor that's required. To have to say, I totally understand, even when someone is screaming pure rage at you. That disconnect, that gap between the required performance and the inner reality, that is the absolute heart of this kind of work.
And this really summarizes the core truths of that BPO worker's life as the poems lay it out. It's a life defined by perfectly polished accents, by flipping day and night to serve another country's 9 to 5, by existing in a state of permanent jet lag, all for a wage that's barely enough to get by. It is, as the poet calls it, the harvest of a globalized economy. Okay, so as our 24-hour journey comes to an end, we're entering the quietest, most reflective part of the day. After the grind, the heat, the storm, the upside-down night shift, what's left? This is where we find the stubborn, quiet, persistent heart of what it means to be resilient.
And this brings us to this incredibly powerful, game-changing idea from Months Forward. After everything we've witnessed, the poem tells us that joy, it isn't some prize you get for making it through the hard stuff. No, it is an active, defiant choice. It is the act of insisting on finding happiness, on finding laughter, even when all the evidence tells you not to.
And this sentiment from the poem Naming is the perfect example. Planting something in soil that's still full of salt and debris from a storm, it's described as a foolish act. And maybe it is, but it's also so much more. It's an act of war against your circumstances. It's a declaration. It's that simple, profound statement, I will grow things again. It's the ultimate act of hope.
And that leads us to the final, big question the anthology leaves us with. After seeing this entire cycle, what do we call this incredible human capacity to just keep going? The poem suggests that words like survival or adaptation, they feel too clinical, too small. They don't really capture the defiant, foolish, beautiful act of insisting on life. And that is a question we're thinking about long after we're done here.